Iran sends another round of missiles into Israel after Israel launched a series of airstrikes targeting its nuclear infrastructure. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Israel is urging its citizens to take shelter. Rescue efforts are underway in the Tel Aviv suburb of Ramat Gan. More than a dozen people were trapped in a building there after an Iranian strike. Israel says 34 people have been injured. Iran's United Nations ambassador says 78 people confirmed dead in his country from the Israeli strikes launched about this time last night.
So we want to take a live look now at Tel Aviv. A little after 5 a.m. there, U.S. ground-based air defense systems in the region are now helping to shoot down Iranian missiles. Israel says the U.S. was informed in advance of the attack. Fox's Connor Hansen reports.
The Israeli military has been shooting down targets in the sky. The government says Iran has now crossed a red line by targeting civilian population centers like Tel Aviv. Smoke rising over Tel Aviv as Iran launches a deadly barrage of missiles towards Israel. Rescue crews now searching for survivors in the rubble. Israeli officials say the country's defense systems intercepted some of the threats. Senior U.S. officials tell Fox News American forces also assisted.
Our absolute foremost priority is the protection of U.S. citizens, personnel, and forces in the region.
The attack comes as Israeli forces continue to strike Iran's nuclear and military sites. After months of failed negotiations, President Trump spoke with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday. He says he would like Iran to come back to the negotiating table, though several top commanders representing Tehran in the talks were killed in Israeli strikes overnight.
Donald Trump didn't believe that a military strike was the right option. He, in fact, told the world that he had told Netanyahu to wait, to give him time for diplomacy.
Still, the prime minister defended the operation in a message to the Iranian people.
The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel.
Netanyahu has also made a direct appeal to the people of Iran. He says now is their chance at freedom from the Islamic regime. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 4 News.
Now, the airstrikes in Israel and Iran have people with loved ones in the Middle East on edge.
Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to a Frisco man with family members in Israel. Peyton.
Hi, Steve and Heather. And this Frisco family, they really have been glued to their phones, checking communication and also checking news sources out of Israel. This Frisco family confirms that they do have extended family members in Tel Aviv this evening. They are hearing those sirens and they are taking cover. Take a look.
Ended up getting a hold of, grandma. I have two aunts there, my dad's uncle. Basically like extended family that live all over, and we just basically made sure everybody was safe.
That doesn't even include all the friends Itai Matitiyahu has been checking in on the past 24 hours. Loved ones who live across Israel.
Holon, which is just south of Tel Aviv. We have all the way up in Metula.
Matitiyahu first calling family Thursday evening Dallas time, Friday morning Israel time, when Israel launched strikes on Iran, targeting Iran's nuclear program and killing top military leaders. A retaliation was expected. All flights were grounded.
My aunt was at the airport trying to return to Dallas. She was visiting her kids. She has two kids still there in Israel, and ended up, they shut down the airport.
Iran striking back Friday evening local time with missiles striking several sites in the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. The violence could continue for weeks. Another North Texas family sent Fox 4 this photo of family members in Tel Aviv taking cover in a stairwell. Civilians now prepared to stay in these bomb shelters as both Israel and Iran trade attacks.
They brought me to Texas back in 1993.
Matitiyahu was born in Tel Aviv, but has lived in North Texas since he was a child. Now he and his wife are raising their two children in Frisco.
I always try to put myself in their, situation and see if I were still in Israel, if my parents had never moved to America, things like that. Like, I think about that all the time, and I just think, where would I be? Would I be in the Army? Would I be in the reserves? Would I have a family? Would I be alive?
Netanyahu tells me that all of his family members are safe. He does have 2 cousins who are in the Israeli military. He does not know where they're at. He does not know where they are stationed. But at this point, he's just trying to stay up to date as much as possible. Steve and Heather, back to you.
All right, Peyton Yeager live tonight. Thank you.